Why the world make me feel misguided? I can't hide it, I'ma shake the globe, change it. Why they don't share this? Who else know this? I smell rodents, I'ma shake the globe till they feel it.
What's up, everybody? This is the Misguided Podcast. We intend to guide you to a better future. The purpose of this podcast is to do exactly that. We will dive deep into the stories of entrepreneurs and highlight what makes them successful, but also pinpoint mistakes they've made and how to improve them. Our goal is to make you start thinking about building generational wealth through business. I hope you enjoy, and if you do, please rate this podcast and leave a review. And now, let's get started.
My name is Ryan DeAmaral. I'm the broker and owner of Twin Oaks Real Estate. We're at our Benicia office today. I'm going to take you guys inside and give you a tour. Let's go on in and I'll show you the Benicia location. So our Benicia office is set up. We have a couple desks that are assigned, like this desk, some of the window seats. A lot of the other desks are community spots, so any agent can come in here, set their laptop up and work. Back here, we do have a kind of conference desk set up, so you could do signings and things like that. A little more privacy. We have a key maker, which is super, super cool. When clients come in, be like, hey, you need a key for the lockbox, we have the ability to do that right here.
All right, so tell me a little bit more about this key maker. Like, when did you decide it was necessary?
So this is something I took over from the old owner. So Corinne, the old owner of Twin Oaks, the old owner and the broker, her brother was the owner of Ace Hardware down on Springs Road, and he got the new machine, so he gave us the old one. And yeah, it's been a perfect little complement for this space back here.
How hard is it to actually make a key?
There's a little training required, especially on this older machine. I know how to do. We also have safety glass. We're supposed to put these on. You don't want to get any shrapnel in your eye, but yeah, you place the key on this side, you place the blank on this side, and they're just kind of an old school cutting wheel. Then this spins and it gets off all the burrs and you're good to go.
When's the last time you used it?
We use it probably like a couple times a month. Me personally, I don't use it very often. Yeah. I'll tell Kaylee to make the key. She's the key professional, but I think we even have something in the university on this. I think there's like a training, or at one point there was like a little training video on how to use the key maker.
Okay.
So coming in here, we got the double doors. We have an office manager, Kaylee, that's always here to greet everyone, all the agents and the clients that come in. Little kitchenette there. We have a bathroom on that side. We have a printer that we're actually working on fixing right now. Some more like private cubicle spaces if you want some privacy. You know, office is kind of a social environment. If you want a little more privacy, we got one of the old school Twin Oaks agents back here, been at Twin Oaks a long time. Tony Foster, another broker, so she's always able to answer questions and assist when I'm unavailable or on vacation or something like that. So if you get stressed out, you come over here and play in the sand a little bit, punch the sand.
I like it. I like it. Okay, Ryan, what are some day-to-day tasks that involves a broker? What's your day-to-day look like?
I go to some meetings, so not only owner and broker, I'm the CEO of the company, so I have to go to meetings where I make decisions and stuff like that, other leadership activities. So most days during the week I have a 9 o'clock meeting, and my calendar's open to all the agents, you know, so everyone can schedule an appointment with me, but no, I never double book. So I live by my phone, so I have an order of how I return people's calls. I do calls first, and then I do text messages, and I'm in my email inbox pretty much all day long. But returning calls from agents, other brokers when there's a dispute and stuff like that, that's kind of like my day by day. So some days, most days are pretty damn busy and jam-packed, you know? But others, you know, I sit here and kind of wait for something to happen, and you can feel like you're having a slow day, then all of a sudden something happens, a dispute or something, and you're just engulfed in it.
Or like Mondays or like the weekends, your slow days, because the agents are busy. Like when's your weekends?
Well, when I became broker, it's different now. So when I was an agent, you're just busy like all the time, you know what I mean? But now, a lot of people will like kind of respect my time now. On like, over the weekend, which is like weird to me. Like they'll wait till Monday. So they'll call me on Monday, like with their problems. So Monday is probably for problems. Monday is the busiest day because a lot of people won't call me on a Saturday or Sunday. And then I kind of found out that Fridays is a little bit of a slower day. And I think the reason why is because agents are taking the day off. Yeah. So they're not like as busy, but no, I stay pretty busy. Sometimes the worst thing for me is when you're helping out somebody, you're giving your all to them, you know, customer service based. I want to see you, like everything's for them. And then they're an to you. This is almost like, I've got to be careful what I say exactly with this, but if someone comes to you and you get a feeling, you got to trust your gut to a certain degree.
Yo, what's up everybody? This is the Misguided Podcast where we intend to guide you to a better future. I'm sitting here with Ryan DeAmaral, broker and owner of Twin Oaks Real Estate here in Benicia. How's your day going?
Doing good.
I appreciate it. If you guys also don't know, I am a realtor under this brokerage, so I'm having the pleasure to interview him on his acquisition, becoming owner of this brokerage, and kind of the struggles that goes along with owning a business. As you guys know, that's what we talk about here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Just a little background. I typically always do this is how I met you. So give a little story to the audience. So how I officially met Ryan was I was working with a previous brokerage before, and things weren't going as great as I would hope. And I just kept seeing green signs all over Benicia. And I was like, oh, like who is this brokerage? Like I've never seen them. I didn't even know this location was here. I just kept seeing the signs. So I called one of the signs and ended up speaking with Ryan and got connected and scheduled a call and just asked a bunch of questions. And then time goes on. I think that was like 6 months prior to me actually joining. I called, we had our first conversation. And then something happened in the brokerage. I got laid off with the other brokerage, and then literally next day it was like, it's time, and then joined within like 24 hours. So do you remember it the same way I do?
A little different. I kind of remember you hit me up on Instagram.
Yeah,
I thought
it was Instagram to schedule the time.
Okay, yeah. I think it was a comment on one of my postings, and I think you were telling me you sent me a message, but it didn't show up in my inbox. It was in like because I wasn't following. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he knew that was. You could tell you were into social media because he knew that didn't land in my inbox. Yep. Yeah, I think that was. We just set up an appointment after that.
I think you're right. Yeah. So and then like I said, it took like 6 months to actually come on board. But what I really enjoyed was the transparency up front. It was like I expressed my concern to him. At that time, I was salary, and every deal I would close would be a bonus. And I was like, look, I'm about to make a life-changing move with 2 kids that are fresh. Like, I need to, kind of understand what's involved in being a full-time realtor, right? And he was just like, look, it's gonna be hard. And I was like, I like that, thank you. It's like, it's not gonna be a joke.
You're not gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah. So I really appreciated that. I told him some other brokerages I was thinking about, and I think I interviewed one other, and I was just like, yeah, it's night and day for me. So thank you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into your story. So the reason I'm interviewing you today is because you are very transparent. I love it. And I want to kind of get into the acquisition or taking over of Twin Oaks. So tell me a little bit about where you're from first and how you became a realtor.
Yep. So I grew up in Contra, Costa County, Richmond, Pinole. I bought my first house in Pittsburgh. So I was always on the other side of the bridge. My wife was pregnant, and we were looking for a place with better schools. So we stumbled upon Benicia and used a different realtor to buy a house here. So that was 2016, early part of 2016. We got in contract on a house. It was a short sale where I live right now. And it was a long process. I learned a lot about real estate. I think the whole escrow was probably like 6 or 7 months. And yeah.
Why?
There was 2 lenders on the short sale, and one approved it. The other one was just trying to get some money out of it, basically. So we closed on the deal, and we had a bad real estate experience overall. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this. I want to help my friends and family out. So a little bit before that, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. So I've owned little businesses, nothing as successful as this one. But
What were they?
the last one I had before Twin Oaks was I owned a printing business. Yeah.
Nice.
And it started out like screen printing, but I actually built a pretty successful .com online.
Okay.
And the model was people would, designers would go on and they would upload their design to a t-shirt and we would print and mail out their t-shirts for them. And
Like Shopify.
yeah, they would get a royalty from
Okay.
it. Yeah. So I built that model out and we ended up, somebody bought half my business out, the printing side of it. And then I just ran the website. And then the same company ended up buying the whole thing out from me.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Was it a pretty good come up?
it was, yeah.
Like
yeah.
because you started it with
yeah.
very low money.
Well, I remember the mindset at that time, I was like very minimalistic lifestyle. Like me and Liz are both like not super materialistic, you know?
Yeah.
They're like nice things, like way nicer cars like back then. But I was like, I was going to be retired.
Yeah.
So it was a decent amount of money to where I could be that. I was going to be like daddy daycare. And Liz had a good job. She had all the benefits and all that, being a CPA.
Yeah.
So back to when I got my real estate license, I was like, I'm just going to help friends and family out. And then I was younger still. I'm still younger, like to say, but I got entrepreneurial bug and it literally just blew up to this. It feels like overnight.
So you had your license before you bought the house in Benicia?
Nope.
So then you bought the house and then you were like, well, I had a bad experience.
Yeah.
Let me be a realtor so I can give good experiences?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it take you after you bought the house? You closed in 2016?
So we closed December of 16. We moved in March of 16. I had my license by September of 17.
Okay.
The same month my
Shit.
son was born.
You were like on a move.
Yeah, that's how I do things.
That's
Focus
crazy.
on something and laser focus on it. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so you became a realtor, joined Twin Oaks first?
I interviewed everyone on First Street, and I was in that office sitting on the other side of Corinne, and I joined Twin Oaks because I liked the broker at the time.
Okay.
I felt like she really wanted to see me succeed and wasn't all about money or whatever. And the splits were good and all that. I didn't see a huge need for a lot of the technology-based brokerages at the time. But they aren't what they are nowadays. But back then it was like, you just join a place and they'll help you out a little bit.
Just join an online community, essentially.
Yeah. So, joined Twin Oaks and been here ever since. Yep.
What was it about Corinne that was like, this is the one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a line for that. So I was like, I want that. I would have wanted that to be my realtor. Yeah. And I told you I had the bad real estate experience. So I was like, this is who I would have preferred if she was my realtor.
Got you.
Yeah. So same mindset and just good foundational, like doing real estate for the right reasons. And I'm really big into that at Twin Oaks now when I interview people, and that's what I wanted to be a part of.
I think it's important to note when you actually chose your realtor, right? Like what was that process? Did you call into Zillow?
Just
Did
like
you
a buyer does now. They
Google?
I think it was Google.
Okay.
I was like, I think we were looking at Walnut Creek first. So I typed in
Makes sense.
real estate agent Walnut Creek, and they popped up. Who knows how now? And I would know now, but back then I was like, it could have been a sponsored ad or something.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like a Zillow lead.
Did you not have like friends, families? Like, did you not try that first?
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I got a crazy ass story I'll actually tell you real quick. Just like any other buyer, we do Zillow leads, so just like any other buyer, you get in touch with an agent, all of a sudden things are happening quickly. You know what I mean? But when we were in the middle of that escrow, we were already set that we weren't going to use him. Like for the next one, if it fell through.
Gotcha.
So we actually called a family friend that I knew was a realtor, and it was Nicole DeVico. That's an agent here now.
Oh.
So she's
yeah.
So that's crazy. I've never even thought about that until right now.
Wow.
She was probably in it for like 2 years at the time, and we had like pretty much like a buyer's consultation over the phone. I was like, okay, if this falls through, we'll use Nicole. So Nicole
is it awkward now?
No, Nicole was at Keller Williams for forever.
Oh, okay.
She knew I got into real estate, and we seen her at a couple of parties and stuff, and it was just the right time for her to come over to Twin Oaks. She's probably been here for like 6 months now.
Yeah.
But I never even thought about that till now.
Do you think that was part of the reason that for her transfer over here from Keller Williams? Is like, I knew him.
She knew I was in real estate, but she saw what we built here, so it was more about that.
Yeah.
She was looking to excel her career, and it just so happens that this is the place she knew she could do that at.
Yeah.
But no, as far as what you were saying about the awkwardness, I didn't get your question at first, but she wasn't mad that like we didn't use her because we weren't super close like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my niece is her niece, but from different sides of the family.
Got you.
Yeah, so we weren't close or anything.
Yeah.
It was the only realtor we kind of knew.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, I wonder if people ever reach out. I feel like they don't. They just like, or they just go to Zillow, they call, and then they're like telling their friends and family, oh, I'm about to buy a house. And then their friend and family is like, oh, I know someone.
Yeah. No, that's why it's so important to stay top of mind.
Yeah.
You're training like social media. Like when somebody thinks of real estate, if you're using social media correctly, they should think of you. Right?
Yeah, very true, very true. What were you ever, when you first got into it, did you ever focus on social media?
I've never been that big on social media. So at the time, I think, I don't want to say I didn't focus on it at all. I dabbled in it, but I didn't feel it was necessary for the success I had. And I think Facebook was bigger at the time.
Very
and
true,
Instagram was like,
it was pictures.
You look at it like TikTok almost.
Yeah.
Like people look at TikTok. Is TikTok ever going to take over real estate? It's like, I don't think so. But Instagram is number one for sure right now for real estate. But at the time, it was more like, oh, this is the age group and these are the people. So I did we have all the presence. We have the profiles and all that. And then I did boosted posts and things. But I honestly can't remember if I've ever like grabbed business from it. But I mean, people saw me doing real estate, and probably friends and family would call me because of it, but I never was huge into campaigns just because I was getting business elsewhere. So I didn't feel like it was necessary.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do want to talk about so you became a realtor and you're like in it day to day. You had one kid at the time, right? And you guys just moved to Benicia. That's a huge like career shift. Like, all right, I mean, I understand you just got paid from selling your business, but like at this time, you starting from like ground zero. Where do you start? Like, what's your next step? You move into the house. How do you start rolling your business?
Yeah. So I dabbled in everything, tried everything. So I did like a new agent would do. I did open houses. I found people to give me open houses. I was a pretty like techie person for my age group at the time, and for real estate in general. That's what I was talking about. Like, not a lot of people were dabbling into real estate. So my very first deal that I ever closed was a Zillow lead. I don't know if you knew that, but
no, I didn't.
The first house I ever sold was in Crockett, and I think it was $276,000.
Oh, shit.
I feel like I'm like hella old.
Yeah.
It was a one bedroom, one bath bungalow in Crockett, like a super small place.
270 back then?
Yeah, it was 2017. Yeah.
Now it's probably like 900,000.
Yeah. That particular.
Do you ever look at it?
It was a bungalow. No, I know what it is. I'm still in contact with the person. I've transacted with them since then.
Nice.
But I was already talking to clients and showing houses. That's just the first one I like closed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still remember taking the call. I was nervous as shit to pick up the phone.
Did Twin Oaks have the same where they paid for the leads or you paid?
I was paying for it by myself. Yeah.
When did the transition happen from where Twin Oaks pays for it now?
That I'll get into all that. I'll talk about the Zillow thing now. So I was paying $250 a month in Crockett, and it would get you like a lot of leads, like 5 or 10 leads.
Oh, snap.
So ROI was great. So I was like, I had the ability to invest money in my business, and I came to real estate with the same mindset of like I've always had with business. And in business, you don't make any money for usually like 3 years. So I try to teach the agents that like, hey, you're making a lot of money in real estate. You're supposed to be reinvesting that back into your business.
For sure.
But when I sold that first deal, I remember I made like $6,000 or $7,000, and I put it right back into Zillow. And then I just compounded that up and up. So a lot of my cousins, my brother started real estate. After that, kind of talked him into it. My cousin Dina, I sold Prejean a house, and then he wanted to do real estate. So our initial...
Wait, Dina Anderson?
Yeah.
That's your cousin?
Yep.
I didn't even know.
Blood cousin, yeah. So our group, and then Maria Jensen was already here, and Victor Homestead was, he came over from Sweden, and he was under Maria. So that was like our initial group.
Wait, Prejean was already here?
Prejean was the last person that Twin Oaks hired before I took over. So he got hired under the old broker,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he came over like because of me, and he was one of the first people that I told that I was taking.
How
from
did
the
you meet
brokerage.
Prejean?
So I sold my house. He was a Zillow lead.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
sold a house.
he wasn't that Crockett one though, right?
No.
What?
Yeah.
So you sold him a house and you're like, you should get into this.
Well, he already took all his classes.
Oh,
And
that's so funny.
Yeah, he took his classes like a college. He was just super intrigued by what I was doing. I was just chilling with him, showing the house. Like, I can do this. He was working at Hertz at the time. He was in sales. So he's always had like good knowledge.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
But
I didn't know he's been in the business for that long because I was like, he just called me this morning and like, he's been killing it. And I'm like, dude, you've been in this game for a while and I just love like the hustle.
He's always been very consistent too.
Yeah.
He's very consistent. So a lot of people, they could do good for a while and they'll fall off. He always says with the leaderboard, he's like, it's a race, not a sprint. Yeah. And at the end of the year, he'll just come out of nowhere and be like,
4 deals.
to the top spot. But yeah, that's important. When we were, like right before we went to Zillow Flex, where they start giving us leads, we were paying about $25,000 a month for leads. But it was a no-brainer because we were getting 5 times return on investment. But that's when I started giving them out to other people because I was really busy with the brokerage. So I'm like, oh, Prejean, I'll give you this lead. And I was like divvying them out.
Yeah.
And then Zillow was talking about doing Zillow Flex. They were talking about it in... they did it a couple times back east, and they're like, we need to bring this out to Northern California. And they hand selected 3 brokerages at the time. It was me here. It was Kenny Fast at Team Fast, and then Brett Jennings at Real Estate Experts in San Jose. And they were like beta testing Flex with us. So we were some of the first people in all of California to get it, and that was December of 2020. So that's when we flipped the switch. And then ever since then, we haven't paid for lead again. And we've just been expanding the number of agents and the number of leads.
Explain how the Zillow Flex works differently than you paying $25 a month and they send you leads. How does it work?
So it's actually scary to go on the program. We're already like hyping it. I owe a lot of the early success in Flex to our old Flex rep, which is Connor Murdane.
Okay.
You might follow him already on Instagram, but now he's not with Zillow anymore. But he's big in social media. But he's basically the one that recommended, and he's seen what all the people were doing back east with it, and he told us like, you guys need to get on this. And from somebody that was making so much money on Zillow, it just stopped.
Yeah.
Because now it's referral based, so we're not calculating ROI. You know what I mean? They're taking way more money. So if I did the calculation, like I would have made like $200,000 less or something. But I saw what it could be. And it was one of the best decisions we've ever made because now you can't get on it anymore. And it's just been really, really good for the expansion and the growth of the brokerage.
So like it's just referral basis. So it's only when you close is when Zillow gets paid.
So
it's not like
we don't pay for the lead at all.
Pay per click.
They give us the lead, and if and when we close the lead, we have to pay them a referral fee. Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess the next question for that would be like, how long did it take to see the drastic change from the 2 Zillow programs? Like, did it take a while, or did it happen like right away? Or where your income was just like...
Everything has happened fast. So I wouldn't say we saw it in income because it's all compounding in a sense. But
maybe, what would you say, like...
Well, just the amount of agents we have and the amount of transactions we're doing.
True. I would say transactions.
That's how I would look at it. But they call, like, when somebody comes into town and changes things, they call that like a disruptor. So I consider myself like a disruptor. Like, even a lot of the brokerages don't like me here now because it's like, oh, the Zillow guy or whatever. It's like because we're doing stuff different and no one likes change. You know what I mean? So I got in at the perfect time with the online leads, and I was the first person doing it at that time, so I already knew how to work an online lead. I was really good at working an online lead, and online leads were like non-existent at that time.
Very
so
true.
when COVID happened, that's when everything changed.
Everybody on their phone.
Like, everything switched over. So if you wanted to look at a house, you were on Zillow. I mean, Zillow's traffic probably skyrocketed during COVID. And I remember I used my brother as an example, Devin, because Devin had his own kind of successful open house business at the time. He was a young guy, and when you're a young male, you know, you show your age a little more. So you're probably like only 22, 23 years old, and it's hard for people to relate to him at an open house.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the normal buyer. So he's like, I'm just going to do them all the time. I'm going to do them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And his first year doing that, he made $100,000 doing that. And then he's young too, so he go on like a little hiatus. He's like, I could just come back and do this whenever I want. And then COVID happened, and that stopped it for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I can't do open houses. So the leads just got heavier and heavier, and Zillow started putting pressure on us. We're like, we need you to take more leads.
Gotcha.
We need you to take double the amount of leads.
Yeah.
And then everyone, well, as soon as I took over the brokerage, a lot of people came over because they're like, I want to be involved with what Ryan is doing. You know, he just keeps going up. I want to be involved in that. And then, people came over, then word of mouth, and we did some campaigns. We did lead generation based recruiting at that time, just because we had so many leads.
Yeah.
And it just has been compounding on that ever since.
Nice. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. But as far as money goes, like my most successful year that I can remember was my last year as a solo agent. Yeah, that was the year I sold 78 houses that one year.
78?
Yeah. In 2020, I sold 78 houses.
What's the volume on that? Like the amount?
I netted about 800K that year. Yeah.
You were almost a millionaire from
one
just...
year, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so in all honesty, it drastically reduced after that. And even as like...
Because your time was split to being more broker than solo agent?
Yeah. So, and then it's like, okay, you got to get out of production because you're going to help... That you got to grow the business, you know? And even doing like a listing
makes
now,
sense,
if someone comes to me, like, okay, I'm going to make a certain amount of money from it, but it's the time. Time and money are like this for me now. I have to think about, so if somebody comes up with a listing, like, is it better to give it to somebody and focus on the business? So in all honesty, I made more money then.
Do you miss it? Like that? Not the money. But do you miss that part of the hustle?
No, you know what?
Different?
You get on extreme highs when you are closing deals like that. Like, you know how you close a deal and the client loves you and you're giving them the keys and you're like, I'm the man. Like, I made somebody super special and all that. Like, doing that over and over and over. But you know what's super crazy about that?
What?
You get on such a high doing it that when it doesn't happen for a while, you get depressed. You start going through like this emotional kind of thing. So now all those levels for me.
But 78 deals in 1 year, there's like no room to have that low.
Well, then you get like extremes of it. So if I wasn't closing like 16 deals in one month. I've only closed 4 deals, you're all stressing. And that's something that happens to every agent. Even like Tony's mentioned that before. You feel like you're going out of business when you're slow. But you actually need to enjoy those times. Because you will get
live minimalistic because that's
you can blow money super quickly and then you think you're entitled to it, you know? And then all of a sudden you're like, what do I do now?
Or that you think it lasts forever. Right? Like that's crazy. Okay, so that was your last year. What was your first year? Do you remember that?
So 2017, I sold 30.
That's still good.
No, I'm sorry, 2018. So 2017, that one I closed at Crockett was my first one. I closed that like in December.
Okay.
Then 2018 was 30, 2019 was 60, and then 2020 was 78. Yeah, and then I've been going down ever since then. But now it's different. It's on a brokerage level.
But you've been like, wait, that's okay. Those stats are like, I feel not normal for a new agent. No. So I want to get into that a little bit, but we're going to take a break. Yeah, we'll come back. Okay, so what do you think about the idea where like work-life balance, where agents should have a separate phone? Do you have 2 different phones? Do you work from one? You say you're on your phone all the time, so.
Yeah, I have one phone, and now like with Follow Up Boss, a lot of people can create a little separation with that. It's like 2 different answers. I'm gonna answer very honestly in both. When I was an agent, I just didn't have work-life balance at all. And I was also doing like extremely high number of transactions, you know? So it's just like with my free time, I wanted to do more business. But in my role now, I show up here, I'm here from 8:30 to usually about 5 every day. I go pick up my kids and then I'm in family mode. So we'll go home and I'll talk to them about the day, all that. We'll go home and we'll have dinner. We'll spend like the evening, and then I will put them to bed around 8:30. And then, in all honesty, I'm putting them to bed. I'm back behind the email. And I'm a night owl though, so I'm not a morning person. I go to bed every night, probably like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and I wake up at 7. So I kind of do the reverse. A lot of the agents or highly productive people do the morning routine. I just like doing it at night. I'm a night owl, but I need to find time and quiet time in order to do what I need to do.
Yeah, because it's all like legal stuff.
Usually my wife goes to bed before I do, and I'm finishing up emails. So I like to have, we call like inbox 0, have your email done. I usually, like right now is a really good example. I have like 4 things in here.
Oh, that's perfect. I love to see stuff like that.
So this is, I'm in control at the moment. These 4 things are things I need to do later on, and that's like my task list. But I pride myself very heavily on like keeping control over my inbox.
That's actually very impressive because that's how I work. It's like literally all my emails into one Gmail, and that's my to-do list. And if it's very, very important, then I put like a task reminder in my calendar. So that's like very interesting to see like a broker has 4 emails on a Friday afternoon.
Well, I think that's uncommon. We use like a Wise Agent before. I'd have a call list, and those are stuff I need to do. And then through different CRMs, but yeah, if I'm out and about, I write myself an email. And then it's in my email, and that's my task list. But I don't think that's normal for the most part, because most people don't have like really good control over their inbox, so they can't use it like that. But this is abnormal for me. Like I'm really in control of everything right now, but on average, I'll have about 50 emails that are pending. Most of the day, we'll have 50 emails. So I got to go through. Obviously, some of them are junk. I always mess with my wife, Liz. I'm like, I got 50. She's like, they're all spam and junk anyways. Like trying to act like I don't have a lot, but I'll delete a lot of stuff. I'll archive things if they're related to something. But I get probably about 500 emails a day. So at certain points of certain days, they will be coming in faster than I'm deleting them.
Jesus.
And it's probably from like 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock every day where that's happening. And I mean, you got to be in there. You got to be in there.
I feel bad for sending you emails.
you got to be in there like 3 or 4 times. Some stuff is email. I do this a lot where I got to get something like done. So say an agent sends me an email and they just got a bunch of questions, I'll just call them. And then we'll resolve it, and then if I don't have to respond to them, the email gets deleted, and it's out of sight, it's out of mind. But I'm pretty good at not allowing things to slip through the cracks because of the way I work my email. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we are back. So picking up of where we left off, I want to know the secret for new agents. I mean, 30 deals, 60 deals, 78 deals, that is not normal for a new agent. Especially going into new territory. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously you moved to Benicia and you were selling homes everywhere, I'm assuming, with that volume. But yeah, tell me a little bit, like, what's the secret?
Yeah. So I usually talk to people when they join the brokerage, talking about how we do business, client first mentality, customer service based, not a salesperson, never looked at myself like a salesperson ever. So I think you have to have that. You have to come from a place of service when you're reaching out to people. And that's the like business one-on-one. That's that core value and like pillar that you just have to have. But the second part is really just the hard work. It's hard work. So it's the amount of time you're putting in your business. And I say this thing like green light, yellow light, red light activities a lot when I talk to people. I always try to stay in the green light realm. So I feel like what I'm doing is elevating me at all times. You know?
That's green light?
That's a green
What's
light
yellow
activity.
light?
Yellow light is like kind of sitting at the office and browsing social media and looking at listing stuff. Or first off, like green light is like writing offers and showing houses and doing things like that. Money making activities is green light. And then red light is just something that you're scrolling social media.
When you say money making activities, can green light, because you're not going to make money right away on certain things, can green light be like, this can set me up for a money
but
play?
it's closer to like kind of like yellow.
You're right on the
Yeah, so some people are sitting here in the office and they're just like, seems like they're playing on their computer, like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm building up this campaign. It's a yellow light if you have something green light to do that you're not doing, right? So you always gotta try to stay in that green light realm. Yellows are necessary, but yellows are also stuff that you could delegate out to somebody. Like I said, you don't have an assistant; you are the assistant. You know. But no, I mean, I dabbled in everything. So I did a little of online leads. I did postcards. I did this. I did that. I spent a lot of time on the online leads, and it's because I was good at it.
Zillow, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's because I was good at it, and because that's what was working for me. So my first year where I sold 30 houses, it was probably like 90% Zillow. It really was. And I don't want to like tell people that like that's the.
I suck at Zillow.
No,
what am I doing wrong?
That's what I don't. That's what I don't want. That's what I don't want someone to think, because, I mean, that could be.
That was just luck, right?
That could be luck to a certain degree. I think I'm really good at those, but that's not the only way you can become successful. People,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and people
don't even use Zillow.
Yeah. People build super successful businesses with open houses, but when I used to be a sales manager, I'll talk about like the 5 avenues of business, and online leads is one of them. But I do tell people, if you're good at one and one is focus more into there. But don't. Also, what if you're only on Zillow and Zillow goes away? Then you're like nothing. Yeah. But in general, I think I have qualities about me that make me a good agent. I think people trust me when they talk to me very quickly. I think they put their wall down, and this is just because I have people's genuine best interests in mind.
Okay, well, because you said that good qualities in an agent, I'm curious to know, have you ever declined an agent from joining Twin Oaks?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Multiple times?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
I had one. The first person I thought of was, I had a guy. We don't want any snake oil salesmen here. So I want to be able
car salesman.
I try to say car salesman. But people, I get in the whole spiel about I don't look at real estate like a sales job, and I don't want people to look at it like a sales job. But salespeople come here and do just fine. I just want them to have the right thought process. Yes, the right mindset. So this one guy came over and he's like, oh yeah, I love sales, I love this. And he said something that was a disqualifier right away to me. He said, I like to manipulate people. Yeah, and it was just over. It was just over right away. But I think he was just thinking, it's like, oh, I can sell. Yeah. Like I'm the number one at my insurance company or at the used car
you
lot
give off such a like laid back, trusting vibe that maybe he felt comfortable enough
to
say that.
Maybe that's fine. That's just not what we want here.
Yeah, obviously.
So I do a thing. I'm like, okay, well. And I think he needed mentorship. He was a brand new agent. Okay. So I was like, I'm going to see if I can find a mentor that'll take you on. And I don't know, I think I actually did try. I was like, this guy said this and that, but we knew he wasn't a fit and he just doesn't get a call back. Yeah. So that happens a lot.
Do people call you and like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, it is. I think that one in particular, he got pissed off and he's like, oh, you could have just been real with me or something like that. I was like, hey, look.
Young guy or old guy?
Probably about my age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So,
but I don't have that a lot though, because most people it's all referral based now, and good people refer good people. Yeah. So
nice. Okay, and then I want to go back to kind of like the beginning of real estate. So 3 years before you actually became a broker, that's pretty good. Like I always envisioned opening like not always, like I've dabbled in, should I open a brokerage with like some friends and like focus in an area, make it a small boutique brokerage. But I'm always like a little hesitant, like I don't know enough. Like 3 years, I'm 3 years now, I think. Yeah. So like, I still don't know, and I call you, right? And I'm like, I couldn't imagine taking that on.
Yeah.
What were some of the mistakes that you made in your first 3 years that you kind of had to learn by actually going through it? Not that stuff that can't be taught.
Drama-filled transactions, and the amount of experience you have is through transactions. I like to laugh all the time when I get on the phone with an agent, and I know everyone has heard this. I know you've heard it. I've been doing real estate for 25 years or 30 years. It's like not impressive to me at all. I've done more transactions than you've done your entire career, like within 3. And
take that out of your Zillow Premier profile, please.
No, that just the amount of transactions you do is how you learn.
I agree, 100%.
You could go through the university. You could go to my broker Q&A. You probably learn a lot from broker Q&A because you hear other people's problems.
I'm there every Monday, or it's a different day now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the best.
You hear problems and then you know how to resolve them. So I'll be honest, I was a touch unsure of myself when I took on brokers. Like, what if somebody has come to me with a question I don't know how to answer, but that it doesn't really happen. And I think, not to feel...
No, that's right.
It's the truth.
I know everything, man. Or you'll figure it out.
I don't want to seem like that. We call car legal like every once in a while or whatever. But I went through a lot of like problematic transactions is how you learn.
What was a transaction that was like, all right, I'm done? That almost made you hang up the towel?
I can't really think of anything that like made me want to quit.
The one with Devin where they went through the paperwork?
So I'll talk about that. We get reported every so often. So someone reported us to the DRE, and it was such a invalid thing. And they were mad that they didn't get their offer accepted.
Yeah.
And they were like $50,000 low. So they tried to say we didn't present it. And some buyers think that if they submit the first offer, they should get accepted, or we have to counter them back or something. So anyway, someone reported us, and the DRE contacted us. They want all our paperwork, all our emails and everything. And such an invalid claim, but it's stressful that we have to go through all that and supply all that information. So just like we were talking about earlier today, I'm having a slow day. Something like that could pop up on me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're just consumed in that for like a week long, and then everything else got to fit in. But I can't really think of something that made me like want to quit real estate. Sometimes the worst thing for me is when you're helping out somebody, you're giving your all to them, customer service based. I want to see you, like everything's for them, and then they're to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're like like just being upset or blaming something on you or falsely accusing you of something when I know for a fact I don't do business like that. Like that upsets me because I'm a firm believer is right. That's why we sleep good at night. We have honest and ethical agents that do things the right way. So I don't worry about getting sued on a normal basis.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I think you're 100% right about that. Like that's why we sleep good at night. Is Twin Oaks, that's what made me join, is like more family oriented. I love the family events, like even just on First Street when we're doing like the boat rides, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that. Like when I was interviewing the other brokerage, it wasn't that. It was like, oh yeah, like we're gonna do online meetings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're gonna go to the bar on Saturday, and then we're gonna charge you like this amount of money to like do these things, right? Yeah. So that was really why I liked that like atmosphere of, I'm entering into really honest and transparent brother and sisterhood, essentially. I mean, even when I walked in here now, Tony was gracious enough to like, educate me on how long she's been in business and the tricks and just transparency, right? And so
we all want to see each other succeed and win. Yeah. And it's not like that as some other brokerages. People look at each other like competition, like, oh, let me hide this from my desk. And I mean, it took a lot of work to keep that going and to create that. And that's going back to like the interview process. One person can ruin that. So you get a snake here, and then all of a sudden the little subcultures and people are talking about each other. Like there's maintenance in keeping it the way it is, especially as you grow.
For sure. Well, actually, speaking of that, is like recently I've been, transitioning to like more investments and stuff like that. And instead of me calling like my cold calls, instead of me calling clients that just have kind of ghosted me, I call realtors. And I'm like making relationships. Hey, do you have any off-market properties? And what I notice when I'm doing this is some realtors are just, don't want to work with you, see you as competition. And they're just like, no. Or if I'm like, hey, I have an off-market deal, what about the referral split? They're like, no, it's okay. I'd rather not get my buyer a client type of situation. It's like, so you'd rather just get 0 than 75% of it? You know what I mean? Versus like some agents I'll call and they'll be like, oh yes, I've been waiting, like perfect. And it's very night and day. How do you feel being, how many years are we in now? 2017 is when you started. From 2017 to 2024, do you think the culture of real estate and agents, of how they think of each other, has changed?
Yes.
In what ways?
So here in Solano County, everyone kind of knows each other. There's not as many realtors here. So we've always you've had to have great relationships with people, because if you build a bad name for yourself, like in Benicia or Vallejo, people are going to remember that. I've always felt it's in Contra, Costa County, you can not run into the same agent twice. And people were a little shorter and snappier and stuff over there. But as we expand, our community expands, people, their true colors might come out per se. A lot of people are have a license and aren't doing real estate full time. You'll see a little more of that too. Or they close a couple houses a year, they have another full-time job or whatever. So there's a lot more sloppiness than there used to be, I feel. You were either 100% in or kind of not doing real estate before. There wasn't as much part-time as there used to be. That's for sure.
Now there's a lot of I close 1 to 2 deals a year.
So there's a lot more issues, with all of that.
That's very true. How do you see Twin Oaks kind of adjusting to things like that?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's an issue here for the most part, because if you're a new agent, you have mentorship.
But not here, but us agents have to deal with other agents from brokerages, which is most of the time why I call you. I'm like, yo, this agent is dumb. Like, you know what I mean?
That we're the most important thing is that we're protected, our clients are protected, and we're doing things for like the right reasons. And if you got somebody doing stuff improperly or even like illegal, we have to know that that's not right and do the right thing. But you're gonna have that no matter what.
In any business too. It's not just real estate. Like there's in anything. Okay, cool. Okay, so tell me a little bit about like when you purchased this place. You know, your wife wasn't in real estate at the time. You have done multiple transactions. How did you kind of convince your wife, one, to purchase this, and then two, to actually join the team?
Yeah, so a lot of stuff to unpack there. I was a top producing agent here, and we were small at the time. I think there was only 15 agents total, and the owner was looking to like kind of step out and be done. I think the last 2 years, she's only really keeping it open because we had a TC that was full time, and she like wanted to make sure she had a job. So I was looking to do something bigger than what I was doing, and she was looking for out, and it was perfect. So there was like an acquisition, and there was money I gave her, but I mean, it's a buyout in that sense, but I kind of just took over Twin Oaks in all honesty. It wasn't a huge sum of money or anything. But so Liz was at that particular time, she was doing like real estate photography. So I think it was like 3i Media. She was kind of starting that little endeavor, and she went through a couple of other jobs. She's a CPA, so that's her main career path. But when we had our son, she couldn't do the super long hours. So if you guys don't know, CPAs or people that do taxes during busy season, you work more than a realtor does. So she couldn't do that anymore, and she was like going to different small jobs. So as soon as I took over the brokerage, she just like jumped into it. And I probably like don't tell her this enough, but like I really underestimated the amount of work that went into running a brokerage. And she just like straight up took over and did all the disbursements and all the money stuff. Like I even said, like the old broker, I don't know how the hell she did it on her own. Of course, it was only like 15 agents, but yeah, the amount of like stuff that has to happen behind the scenes to keep this place going is like crazy.
And then like no experience too.
Yeah. Liz literally took on like 80%, like no joke, 80% of the Twin Oaks workload. I took over like the broker role, and I was like the sales manager that time, and all these other things like.
Were you still doing deals actively?
Yes.
So that was kind of keeping you busy as well.
Yeah. So we were both jam packed. Maybe we'll talk about this a little more later, but there was a point where I was super like stressed, especially through a lot of our expansion, but. Overall, I'm not a stressed out person right now. It's because I have my roles and I do my roles, and everyone else does their job. So before you have an assistant, before you have a sales manager, before you have a marketing person, you are those people. Or you just don't have that and you have a shitty brokerage. So you do everything at first, and then
we know a couple of those ones.
So now I'm the broker. I have like the legal department here, and I make decisions and I come up with ideas. I'm still pretty much like visionary for the brokerage, but we have amazing people that keep the brokerage a great place for agents to be at.
Okay, guys, we are back. We're gonna go ahead and shift topics to talking about team and kind of the structure of Twin Oaks. So if you don't know, when you're joining a new brokerage and you're a new agent, typically you need some mentorship, which is highly recommended and sometimes mandatory with brokerages. Here at Twin Oaks, I know the policy recently changed, I think, but here if you haven't done 3 deals, right? Then you typically are given a mentor or have the option for a team, right? And those kind of differ in their ways, and it's whatever works best for you. So what was like the structure of deciding who's going to become a mentor and who's going to become a team leader?
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if Devin had the first team here. I think Maria kind of had the first team. So her and Victor were like teaming up. Okay. So it was a different kind of team, but they were doing everything together. Okay. Kind of, yeah. And then it must have been Devin who started the first like team that has been pretty successful. And for people that reach out to me, and you mentioned this earlier about like being a broker or wanting to become a broker, possibly. I think if you're looking to like make the most money in real estate, you should be a team lead. So the broker thing is, I really enjoy the legal aspects of real estate. And I think that's really rare for people. Yeah. So most people, I think, if you started a brokerage thinking like it's basically a team, but I have all the authority, you're going to get hit with some drama or a lawsuit, and you're going to be like, I'm done with this shit. Like really, it takes a certain person to like just stop everything and be able to not have that like keep you up all night long, every night, you know?
Which is why I always am like, I don't know if I could be a broker.
It's a lot of people are doing like these other smaller brokerages. It's actually brokered by somebody else, like Side and these other things where the corporate,
they're like a team lead broker,
kind of. Yeah, but you have your own like brand. I think brand is what people want. They want the brand of the brokerage. Yeah.
All over the town. But.
So Devin was looking to expand himself, just like anyone else was with a team. So a little about Devin, that's my younger brother. He's 11 years younger than me. And he graduated high school, went to college, and then wanted to travel around. So he went to LA, and we got our license right about the same time. He probably got his license like maybe 4 months after me. Okay. And for those that don't know, Janessa is Devin's half sister, and she's like my stepsister almost. So Janessa had her license for both of us, like 4 years before us. She was like with Remax and all this stuff. So I think she probably got the bug started with Devin, and then my story, they all just kind of combined at one point. But Devin was down south in LA, and then he saw like I was building something here, and he was like, okay, it's just time to come back, and just kind of teamed up, and we were doing the Zillow stuff together and all that.
Did you ask him, or he just like was like, hey, can I?
I think I did. I think I can remember telling him like, just come back, we like work together. I'm at this brokerage Twin Oaks, it's super cool. I'm doing this Zillow stuff, and we can kind of work together on that or whatever. And then Devin's a hard. We came from the same family. Our dad's kind of a rougher, very aggressive kind of dude. Okay. That's probably the reason why both of us are like very laser focused on what we got going on. But he started, and he was just looking to expand himself out. Devin's a teacher. He's a nurturing dude. We definitely have very different personalities.
So that's what I wanted to talk about. It's like you guys are so different.
We're very different.
It works though, because both of you are hustlers. You just hustle in like a different ways. Charming in different ways, like everything. You know, it's like different. So
I think Devin's very different. He's like very passionate, very caring, and all that. I'm more like a D personality, like very by the book. I'm like, listen, this is what it is. And that's it. I can sugarcoat the way I explain something to somebody, but that's about it. But,
I can see that for sure.
Devin can talk about his feelings and emotions and stuff. I'm not really that dude.
But that's why he's a team leader. I mean, and he's a good one.
He's a great leader. He really is.
So when he came to Twin Oaks, was he just a solo agent, and then was like, oh, I should like.
So we didn't have a little team. We still even have a chat where like a couple of us started. It's called like Team DeAmaral. We had a little, but it was basically me kind of handing off leads and helping them, because the broker at the time didn't want to like bring on brand new agents, you know. No, that was basically it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then, when he became a team lead, he was the first one?
Yeah.
Like the first official one.
Yeah.
What's kind of the process of structuring his role as a team lead? Is he less of a solo agent at that time?
So it's forever evolving, really.
I mean, because when I joined, I don't know, even that was like over a year ago when I joined. I remember he was like, I had a team of like 20, 23. And then he was like, I wanted to spend more time with the agents, so I downsized. And then when I joined, I think it was like 8 or 12. And then the day I joined, we had brought 4 more people. And then now he's back up to like 30. So like, what makes him go through these stages of...
Let me get into like setting up a team like in general. So I remember the first time everyone started having all these teams is like right when Compass came out. It was like 2018, everyone was a team. Like there's a bunch of names on a sign or whatever. Then I like to say like none of those teams are around anymore. And the reason why is because they didn't set up the foundation required to have a successful team. So you have to say, okay, how am I going to run my team? Am I going to be an assistant-based team? Am I going to be like a customer service or agent-focused based team? It's all about like retention. So do I want really high retention on my team, or do I just want to make sure I make the most money. I don't care about people leaving. So you have to figure out like why. You have to set up your splits. You have to set up like what you're going to offer them, what your infrastructure is, just like we do on a brokerage level.
Yeah.
And Devin chose the route of being a high retention team. So it's very similar to the way Twin-X is set up.
Yeah.
So he takes care of people very well financially, and people stay on his team for the most part. But what comes with that is problematic agents, maybe like spending too much time on the wrong people maybe. So I think when Devin had a realization he wanted to like switch stuff up is when he had so many agents, he's spending time on people that just don't want it.
That's actually what he told me. Yeah.
He's like, I'm putting all this time and effort into you, and we had a great talk. I feel great that you're going to do what you're supposed to do, which is you're going to take 2 Zillow leads this week and do an open house, and then you don't do it. And then it's just a never-ending cycle of continuing that on. But what will really affect you and make you want to change your mindset is if you have that really good agent who's great on your team and they leave.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I should have been focusing on providing growth and things for them to grow their business, and I lost somebody by spinning his ass. He's like, I want to trim the fat. But I mean, a team in general is expanding yourself out. So maybe you want to get into a team because you want to get rid of buyer representation, which is most of your time that you're out on the streets, you know? And I think Devin, in the perfect world, it'd be great if Devin could fully get out of production, but I think he has to do a little business to sustain himself.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, very true. So what was, for Devin, what was his like best solo career? Like, was like compared to yours? I mean, like I said, yours is kind of like uncanny. It's like
Devin's been before you came on, Devin was, I think, top producer in 2021. So I think he's
that was literally. I came in 21. So I came in November though. So.
I remember him getting the award at like the gala, and I think he was close to 40 transactions.
I think I think I remember something. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And Prejean was about the same. And Dina got it in 2000. Oh, she actually got it in 2020, even though mine was higher. Just because I didn't take. I became broker that year, so I didn't want to take it. But Dina had like 30, so they were rocking and rolling. Yeah.
Back in 2020 and 2021, that was the homes were just selling, flying off.
You didn't know what you were doing. You
came in.
Money just fell into
money was there.
Yeah.
But now it's completely different because even our last gala, hearing 40 in my head, like the numbers that people did wasn't even close to that. No. And still they were top.
We had some 30s.
Yeah.
I don't know if, I don't know. Taryn might have been close to 40, but I don't know if, we didn't have a lot of 40s.
Not like back then. But that's interesting. Okay.
To explain it to people that don't know, the reason why that is just way less transactions industry-wide. Industry transactions have probably went down in half.
Yeah.
So we still have a good piece of the pie and we're above the market standard, but there's less transactions happening, so there's less to go around in that
I guess we can touch on that a little bit, but I do want to get into this acquisition before we have to head out. Why do you think transactions are down? And as short as you can, couple sentences, why do you think?
Inventory is down and rates are high.
As simple as that. That is very simple. And now, with demand picking back up because the sun is out, we're experiencing as agents a lot of losing offers. I submitted an offer last week on an investment and there were 16 offers, 11 cash, and 5 loans. And we paid $80,000 over asking price for a fixer.
Yeah, so we've been seeing listings pick up. Like Benicia Brokerage has had 10 listings on it every week.
A month ago it was 0.
Yeah, but we're so far behind on where we need to be. People have to realize that. Just because you've seen 20 listings pop on the market, like you're looking on Zillow, like there are 20 listings, all of a sudden it's back. Pops in the mind, the market has shifted, buyers and sellers. We're so far behind on where we need to be that it's supply and demand. That's all it is.
I need to clip that part up because that's well said. Like I literally experienced like maybe 2 buyers in the last month go through that of listings are picking up, and I'm like, oh really? Because demand's picking up too, and we're losing a lot more than we're winning.
Yep. And another thing you hear people say all the time is pricing is dropping, and because you see one listing drop the price. It's like anyone can overprice. I can put my house at $2 million and lower it to 1.5. It's like, look at that, the market's crashing. People think that because of one thing they see.
We are back. We're gonna shift gears to talking about the acquisition of Twin Oaks and kind of get into maybe some numbers, some struggles, becoming a broker and owner versus a solo agent where you own your own business, and now you own your own business with employees, right? So tell me a little bit about the kind of conversation first you had with Corinne of, hey, I want this to be mine. Like, how'd that go? Did you approach her? Did she approach
Corinne
you?
came to me.
Really?
Yeah, she always, I think she was like kind of worried that I was going to go somewhere else.
Oh,
Or not like worried, but no one wants an agent to leave, like no matter what.
No, yeah.
Get like competitive over and be like, hey.
Yeah.
I think she mentioned a couple times, and yeah, she brought it up to me pretty much.
All right, so we're gonna pick up where we left off. We were talking about kind of the acquisition. You said you bought Twin Oaks as a stock corporation with all the equipment included. Mm-hmm. You had the conversation with Corinne kind of about buying it, as she already knew you were doing really well and looking for an opportunity. So what's kind of, after you purchase it, do you mind sharing kind of a rough number of where you purchased, like how much you bought it for?
I never told anyone the exact amount. I'll tell you it's under 100K.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so does that mean though, you gave, because there's different ways to buy business, does that mean you give her whatever amount and she signs off the business completely to you, or did you like sell or finance it over a period of time?
Okay, so
like, is that your down payment?
No, I paid it all cash.
Okay.
But it was more than that, but they came with money in the bank account. So basically whatever I paid, just say there was 100,000 in the bank. There was another 100,000 that I gave her to take over that.
Gotcha.
Because the corporation like owns the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other piece to that was the building, which was like I'd have the first right. Yeah, I rented it from her at the time, but there was like I had the first right of refusal on the building. So like probably a year and a half later, I bought the building. So it was
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You own the whole building?
It's not the whole building, so it's a condominium like complex.
But there's apartments above.
Yeah, so I don't own that. I own the space in it. Yeah, so it's like a little HOA almost. It's called an OA for commercial.
That's the thing. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
So, I guess you can, because like the wine place across the street was for sale, and that means it's just
the same,
that building.
Yeah, same thing as over there. They have like Etsy Real Estate owns that space, but they don't own all the units above it or anything. Yeah, that's just the way it was developed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that, because that's kind of cool. I didn't even know that. So when she had it, she was renting it, right? She had like a 5-year, 10-year lease.
She bought it.
Oh, she had that. She bought the building. Yeah. Okay. What was kind of the purchase like that?
So it was the same with her. Well, she rented it first and then she bought it.
Okay.
And then it was the same. We didn't even talk really numbers of what the building. I was just going to pay market with a little extra, a tiny bit better deal. So I just paid market, and just like she did when she bought it. And now, there's a OA, and I'm part of like the board of directors, and I help like manage or whatever.
But the OA is just what the commercial building is on the bottom? Here?
Everything. So all the owners, I think there's 4 units. There's 8 units plus this. So 9 units total.
Interesting.
So it's a super, super small little HOA fee, but the owners are responsible for.
What was the building cost that you purchased it at?
That's public record.
record.
I can say that. I think it was $720.
$720. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Do you know what it's worth now?
Close to $1 million, probably.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
It's hard to judge because we got a lot of comps to sell, but they don't have a HOA or they have a backyard. Commercial space hard because we have 15. I think it's like 1,500 square foot, but it is a little kind of odd layout. So if I had to guess, it's maybe closer to $1 million now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it's been 6 years, right? 6 years since you've been a realtor, and then how many?
7 years since I got my license.
Since you got your license, and then
4 years owning the brokerage.
How long do you see yourself owning the brokerage?
I love what I do. A lot of people like just in business planning, or even like people that are in business talk about like exit plans and stuff like that. Like I don't necessarily have one. When we talked about like setting the goals for Twin Oaks in 2024, a lot of it, I remember saying that I do want to have something that somebody wants, you know? Like I want somebody to say, I want to like buy it and have like a value on that, but I love what I do, and I don't put money first. Like it's not a money motivated thing. If someone came here and offered me $20 million or something, would I consider? I probably have to at that point. But no, I love what I do.
You'd still ask to like manage it though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that after I got that
like
much money.
that.
Yeah. But no, I really do just love what I do, and I don't have a plan for retiring. When I was in real estate, I did have like an exit strategy, and it was becoming more of like setting up like generational wealth at that time. I was gonna buy one house a year for 10 years, and then I was gonna quit real estate. Yeah, but since I got in, I don't necessarily have an exit plan for 20
Let's talk about that. I know you're working on a flip right now. How's that going?
Good, it's almost ready. Like
right.
one more week. Yeah.
Cool. And then is this your first flip ever? Do you have other investment properties?
Yeah. I own investment properties. I own the building and one more other house. But no, first flip. So I'm doing that with another one of our agents, and he's super excited, wants to do more and more of them. So I probably will be doing much more of that. Before I got into real estate, I'm an investor, so I have a lot of stock money. Okay. Which I don't want to say I like regret it, but if I knew what I know, what I knew now then, I probably would have did a lot more real estate in my portfolio. Okay. Because there's so much different tax strategies with real estate, 1031 and
cost
primary
segregation.
resident, a lot of stuff like that. And in stock, it's all just there, and I compound interest, and that's it.
Yeah, and then pay capital tax.
Well, it's locked away. I have like IRA and stuff like that, but I compound interest, and I look at it, and that's about it. But I not super aggressive with it.
What's the other investment you have? You said you had another house.
Pittsburgh house is a rental.
How long have you had that?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and you bought it like, why Pittsburgh? Well, I know you lived there for a little bit. Good price.
Yeah.
And long-term rental?
Yep.
Have you had any tenant problems?
Nope.
That's amazing. What was the process of picking a tenant? Did you do it yourself? Did you hire
I did it myself, yeah.
Is it like a long process was it a scary process? And am I gonna pick the wrong person?
I'm a researcher, so I was like, do I do property management or whatever? But I'm like, no, it's not worth the money. So no, you get lucky with that. Somebody I helped sell a lot of houses before. They've owned a lot of real estate, a lot of doors, they call it, like triplexes and all that stuff. And they gave me some advice. They said, never rush to get a tenant, or go to the person that's willing to pay the most money or whatever.
Very true.
Like, go ahead and have a vacancy for a month or two until you get somebody you're not going to run into problems with. I think that's super important in California. And they had so many doors, and they never ran into issues. So I think everyone can learn from that. Yeah. Be very careful about it.
How long was it vacant for?
Not much at all. No. It was like a month or two.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, but someone comes to you, like, this is almost like, I gotta be careful what I say exactly with this, but if someone comes to you and you get a feeling, you gotta trust your gut to a certain degree. And I didn't want to get any like discriminatory action. Yeah. But if someone comes in and they got a super bad feeling, you can see a gun in their waistband or something like that, it's like, let me not say we could discriminate against that person. I'm not intending that. But you have to trust your gut to a certain degree. And when you get a super good feeling or a super bad feeling about that, you need to take that feeling seriously.
No, I agree. I mean, like, I think investing, it can go either way. It can be really great for someone, and it can go really bad for someone. But I think it's all about like the due diligence and the heart, right? Having the gut to stomach if something goes bad. How can you fix it with the multiple exit strategies? That's why I really like real estate investing versus stock investing. I love both. I think you should do both. But for me, the real estate, there's so many exit strategies.
Yeah. There's so much you could do.
It's like, even if you mess up on entering, right? I overpaid for the property. There's ways to fix it. Like you can't like fix, I paid too much for an Apple stock. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty like overall like risk adverse. Like I don't take large risks. Like all my money is in a mutual fund and it does great. I get like 10% a year on it. And 9 or 10% a year.
And you're not doing anything.
Yeah. I have an older.
Do you pay the person for the mutual fund though?
No. It's a Vanguard mutual fund. So Vanguard has super low fees overall, and it's VTSAX for those that want to know, which I have almost all my money in. I do a little international just to diversify. Yeah. But it copies S&P 500 and it just does better than it. Yeah. So it's not rocket science. But my older brother, he has a lot of stock money too, and he jumps in and out and all that, and it kind of controls his life.
Yeah,
because it could really affect his
One bad
emotional
move.
state. Yeah, and he's looking at it every day, and I probably do just about as well as him.
Yeah,
in the long run, and I probably take the years off his life, stressing everything. He'll text me like, stocks are booming today. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll look at my phone.
Look, real estate's booming today too.
They look to be booming, yeah. But I just slow and steady.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay, I want to move on to, before we kind of wrap it up, I want to move on to a segment I call the Hella Misguided segment, where I ask the same question to each entrepreneur and business owner. That question is, if you were to write a letter to your 18-year-old self, what would a summary of that letter be?
Damn.
Just, that's it.
No one's ever asked me that before. Yeah, you know what it makes me think of? I remember I got rejected a couple of jobs back in the day. Like I remember like one job, I still think about it, like I tried to apply at like Cragen and they wouldn't take me. And I got super
For
fit.
what? No experience?
I don't know.
You don't need experience.
It probably, or they just didn't like necessarily need somebody. I think I just went in to apply. But I've had other opportunities. I could have got hired on at Caltrans or even been an operator at a refinery and all that. And that was what was instilled in us. It's like, hey, find a safe job, just like my dad did, and worked there for 40 years or whatever.
Because Caltrans got the benefits.
Yeah. But I think everything worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
The way it did. So, I don't know if that's necessarily like advice for my younger self. I mean,
well, how were you as
keep on your path?
Did you have an entrepreneurial spirit at 18?
I did smog, one of my first jobs. I was a meter reader for PG&E. Those are probably my two biggest jobs that I was in for a while.
Okay.
And then after that, a bunch of little small businesses.
Did you go to college?
Nope.
What? You went to high school in Richmond?
Pinole Valley.
Pinole Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the whole like in my 20s entrepreneurship was like, you're just learning, you know? So, I mean, it's exciting. You got this business and you're not really making money.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all of that was super valuable for where I am today. And once you have a profitable endeavor, like the t-shirt one, then it's just like we were talking about real estate experience.
Yeah.
All these things where you lose and and it doesn't go the way you want it, you're learning from it. So for any entrepreneur, I think just keep on going. And success is not monitored in how much money you make. Mm-hmm. It is not monitored in how much money you make, because you only need one successful endeavor, but you're learning. As long as you're learning, obviously you got to make sure you're putting food on the table or whatever if you got a family, but just keep hustling, stay in that green light realm of always being productive and making good use of your time.
Have you read the book Green Light by, he's an actor. Oh my God. I forgot his name. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna send you the book. Do you read books?
Not very much.
Yeah, you're like, I read documents all the time.
Reading is like, I decompress with that. So I'll do like a fictional, like something like that.
Got you. Yeah, some Harry Potter.
No, I got that from Roger Savvy, which was a guest speaker. We had like a motivational speaker.
Okay.
He just talked about green light, red light, and yellow. And it didn't come from a book or anything. I just really resonated. I knew what that meant right away. Yeah. So when I mention it to people, I got to remember that that's foreign to them. Yeah. I talk about like sales funnel all the time with people too. Like, have you heard of the sales funnel? Just because I talk about it so much, you imagine everyone knows. But it's easy to explain.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty much. I do want to like ask before we wrap up about kind of like exactly where you see the brokerage. I asked where we see you, but where do you see the brokerage in maybe the next 5 years?
Yeah. So we have the foundation of being able to expand what we currently have. Mm-hmm. Probably need to build a little more lead generation based, like in-house, because I know people want that. I want to rely on companies a little less for their lead gen, but just expanding out.
Do you see yourself getting more locations? Besides?
Yeah, they're probably I've even thought about doing like franchise before and like letting people franchise out Twin Oaks, and that's tabled, or it's not happening at this particular moment, but additional brick and mortars. I don't brick and mortar to recruit, which a lot of people do. Like, we got a San Jose place, let's bring on a bunch of San Jose agents. If we have a need for it, then we'll go there. So there's a possibility there'll be a Twin Oaks, Hawaii because Devin might be moving out there.
Crazy.
So that'll be our first like out of state license.
Yeah.
But no,
Wait, Hawaii's still in state. Oh, I mean,
United States.
Country. Yeah.
But, every state has their own real estate license.
I got you.
But just expanding out what we're doing. Nothing outside of the box.
Yeah. Last question. Do you believe that they're like taking risks too soon could be detrimental to Twin Oaks and any business? Like expanding too much. Look at WeWork.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are you kind of cautious about when you're doing that, or do you keep that in mind?
Yeah, no, I'm, like I said, kind of like risk adverse.
Got it.
But I mean, risks are necessary in business. They definitely are. But I like to have control over that situation. I feel like with hard work, you can overcome some of the risk involved in taking the leap or taking the jump. You know. So,
most definitely.
But no, they're necessary sometimes. Walnut Creek was when we opened up Walnut Creek, it was kind of scary. That was a risk, but it was such a calculated risk. I was like, this will benefit us. The risk is smaller. The risk to reward is a ratio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and again, one of the best decisions we ever made to open up.
It's crazy because after I joined you, I was in the process of purchasing a business in Walnut Creek, literally across the street from where the office is. And it was a co-working space. And we went through all the due diligence and everything. And what made us walk away from the table was because it was on Broadway, whatever that Main Street is. The rent was just so, I couldn't bear it. Like at night, as you say, like I couldn't probably sleep at night knowing that I had a $22,000 rent like every month. And knowing that the business goes like this, co-working is like this, right? So for us, we walked away, but I could only imagine like opening multiple locations at one time. And that But no, I appreciate the honesty and transparency today. But go ahead, let everyone know where they can follow you, find Twin Oaks.
Yeah, Ryan_Twin Oaks is my Instagram, probably where I'm most present as far as social media goes. But yeah, Twin Oaks is on 1st Street in Benicia. We are got a location in Walnut Creek, and yeah, I'm a phone guy. So you guys want to talk to me, find me on social media or 510-734-7400.
And that is his personal phone because he only has one phone. So.
I say people all the time, I pride myself on being a reachable broker. So very rare that you can call somebody and get them on the line.
So I always feel bad about that because I'm like, oh damn, I just got some bad news at 9 o'clock at night. But I've called him at 9 o'clock at night, and whether he's putting the kids down, he'll call me back in 2 minutes. Like it's I always feel bad.
For me.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it's a great feeling. Someone come to you with an issue, and then when they hang up the phone, the issue's resolved.
Yeah,
like it makes me feel very good. So
you're a unicorn, I'd say. Well, we appreciate it. You guys heard it here. This is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. My name is Jawan. This is Ryan. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and follow Ryan. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Cool.